There's a new trend on YouTube called the Person Millionaire. It's predicated on AI technology and influencers telling people that they can create an overnight business to make $1 million just because AI is so powerful. And although they're not wrong, AI is that powerful, and there are several people that have done so. For the most part, it's a scam. I see entrepreneurs every single day falling for this myth, where they can take what they currently have, which is very little, and turn it into an overnight success just with the help of AI. Unfortunately, that pretty much kills all momentum and is destined to fail. So here's the truth. Every successful business owner or entrepreneur that I know has one thing in common. They didn't do it alone. And although at the onset of AI, it's been increasingly easy to create systems and let people go because AI is replacing their jobs, really what they're doing is building what we call an AI-enabled workforce. And although it's true that building a business now is far easier because of the onset of AI and what it can do for you and your business, the myth still remains the same. These people didn't build it alone, and neither are you. You see, AI isn't going anywhere, and yes, it's going to absolutely help you grow your business, but it's not going to replace people. And these entrepreneurs that have been successful over the course of the last 30 years are now adapting to what we call the AI-enabled workforce. It's where they make their team and themselves more productive without having to hire more people. So now one person can be equivalent to 3 or 4 because of what AI enables them to do. What this does is increase valuation, increase revenue, and thus increasing profit because you're not increasing your overhead. You're not spending more on systems and people. In fact, the more AI tools that you use, yes, it's going up, but only incrementally. You see, hiring people is very expensive. They need salaries, they need to live. AI doesn't. A lot of it is token usage or subscriptions, and those add up, but not the same, not even remotely the same as a human being that would be working on your team doing one of these tasks. That's why in this video, I'm going to expose why the one-person business is a myth, why it's keeping you broke and overwhelmed. But don't worry, I'm not going to give you a cliffhanger. I'm going to show you the game-changing solution that is inevitably going to take you to that next step. It's what entrepreneurs like myself are constantly using and iterating, and how we're getting to 7 or 8 figures in our businesses. So if you're tired of being the bottleneck in your own business, and you want to discover how to build a real empire, one that doesn't just depend on you working more hours, then I want you to watch this entire video to the end, and I'll give you the exact framework that I'm currently using and that I have been for the last 12 months to go from $0 to over $100,000 per month in recurring revenue. So let's start here. Being a solo founder typically means you're going to be more successful because you don't have to pay anybody and all the money is yours, right? Well, that's what we're taught when we hear about this one-person business, this multi-million-dollar one human being running a business. Unfortunately, it's false. It's a myth. It is glorified prison. In fact, I've been there and several of my friends have been as well. It's very difficult. In fact, it actually creates what we call a ceiling of growth, because there comes a point in time where your income and the growth of your company is capped. You just can't push beyond that ceiling because your time is tapped. And unfortunately, burnout and overwhelm, well, that follows. And when I started Key Players, it was literally just me and Olivia finding Joe and Nick, our other 2 partners, trying to do it all ourselves. And because we were staffing and recruiting, we were the sales, the tech, the operations, the fulfillment, the finance, you name it, we did everything. And now we have over 17 in-house staff members with over 100 virtual assistants that have come and gone. And we're able to do this because we have systems and people. It wasn't me hiring 100 people and letting them go, replacing them. That's a job on its own. In fact, that was one of the first things that we did. We learned to hire somebody who could fill the gaps that we just didn't want to do. And honestly, those people became better at that than we were. Number 2, the hidden costs of going solo. When you're growing a business, time becomes the most valued prized possession because you have a lot of one and not a lot of the other. But there is a time where you don't have either. So you have to bootstrap and spend all of your hours, those 80, 90-hour weeks, trying to build this business. And unfortunately, it burns out your wallet and it burns out your mental because you don't have either. When you're doing things like handling mundane tasks, admin tasks, VA tasks, those $8 to $12 an hour tasks are actually costing you so much more money in the long run. It's called opportunity cost. This is exactly why founders like yourself get stuck between the $10,000 to $50,000 per month mark, and they can't really, pass that ceiling. The psychological burden is actually the worst of them all. When you can't pass that ceiling, when you're doing everything yourself, you're tired, you're burnt out, you're broke, and unfortunately, this is where the collapse begins. Enough of what doesn't work, here's what actually does work. These founders are using AI and human beings collectively and collaboratively to be able to do 5 to 8x the output, meaning their business is going to skyrocket in productivity and ultimately mean make a ton more money. When they make a ton more money, they put a lot more profit in their pocket, and the EBITDA, or the exit value, becomes so much greater. It allows you to equip your business with more tools, more people, with more profit, and ultimately, if your goal is to exit or scale your company, you now have a greater chance or a greater ability to do so because you're enabling the growth within your company. The thing is, AI only fails. Humans only fail. And the reason being is because humans are unpredictable. You can't predict what humans are going to do. There is human error, that's what it's called. AI, well, that fails if you are not an AI engineer. If you don't know how to use it properly, unfortunately, you can't rely on the client success team of every software you've used because they don't always speak to one another. There have been several instances where I've used so many softwares, thought I was an expert, got into them, and had to call my CTO crying for help because, hey man, I'm not a developer. I don't know what I'm doing. I was trying to use these softwares, and before I even knew what AI engineering was, I was trying to interconnect everything, trying to make my business blow up and explode because, well, I watched a really good VSL and I thought, hey, that's going to change my business. And the truth is, a lot of them could have. A lot of softwares that I don't use right now, they would have done me wonders in my company if I didn't have an alternative and if I actually knew how to use them. But the amount of opportunity cost that I have cost myself by trying to integrate things that were not my highest and best use is abundant. I still do it. In fact, now I have a process in my company that every time I use a new tool, I actually have to run it through not only billing because I was spending a lot of money, but also my CTO because he ultimately builds all the tech stack and our systems on the back end of my company. And if I create something or buy something that he doesn't approve, it severely impacts the business, and that impacts revenue, profit, and so much more. Here are the 4 lies that I hear most. Number 1, I genuinely can't afford help. Well, again, back to what that means. You genuinely can't afford the $800, $1,000 a month that it costs, or the opportunity cost isn't yet outweighing the actual financial cost. And to you, that needs to be a decision, right? Are you able to go the next few months without jeopardizing revenue, profit, or client success? Or can you whip out your credit card, hire a virtual assistant, and make sure that they help you produce more revenue in that 30 days? Or do you not have momentum yet? What does that mean to you? Is opportunity cost outweighing the actual cost of the VA? Or right now, are you just not in a position to do so? Because that is 2 totally different situations. Number 2, no one doesn't like me. I've been guilty of this several times. Me being the salesperson and the operator, I often find that nobody can sell my products like me. Alex Hermosi made a video about a year ago that I still quote to this day. No one is ever going to care about your business like you. You just have to make sure they do it 40% as well. And if you can sell your business to your sales team, you will be able to have them sell with conviction. Because closing at 40% as opposed to the 80 that you were closing at, but you're doing 50 to 100 times more based on the output because you're hiring 10, 12 sales guys, more than makes up for it. In fact, that's how a majority of businesses, almost all businesses, run. Number 3, AI will replace that. AI replaces everything. AI will not replace everything. They won't replace your sales team. They'll enable them. They won't replace your media buyer. They'll make them stronger. They won't replace your client success. No, they might replace your client success. But if they don't, they'll make your client success team way, way better, way stronger. They'll reply quicker, they give them better answers, and they'll help your clients stay even longer because, well, churn is what actually kills businesses. Number 4, trust and quality. How do I know if I can trust that person? What if they're not as good as me? How do I know how they're trained? How do I know? Number 4, trust and quality. I'm going to make this simple. You need to trust somebody. If you don't, there's a 100% chance the quality of your work goes down to 0 and you actually fail. If you don't trust somebody, if you don't hire somebody, your business is going to go to 0 because you can't be the everything officer in your business forever. It doesn't work. You will trust the wrong people. It's part of life. You will trust the right people and you'll succeed. And it'll feel harmonious. And in that point, you'll know, wow, I did the right thing. I brought somebody on who's better than me, and now my business is actually successful. Yay me. I've personally helped 54 businesses myself, that's not even including our clients, save over 5,000 hours and automate up to 40% of their company because they trusted. Because they trusted quality, because they trusted people, because they trusted systems. That is how you scale a business. At the end of the day, building a business is not easy, but it never was. And if it was, everybody would do it. If you are trying to build a business on your own, and you think that you can do that because you watched a YouTube video, then by all means go ahead and try. I promise you that you will realize at some point in your journey, you need to trust somebody that can do something, anything, better than you. If not, someone who wants to be better than you. Because at the end of the day, you can't do everything on your own. It doesn't work. You will get burnt out. You will get tired, and ultimately, you will jeopardize the quality of work that you're doing for your clients. Something that you probably have said time and time again, you pride yourself on, being the best and providing the best service. So, if you think that the one-man millionaire, the one-man business, is something that you can take and you can do effectively, then I encourage you to try. But I encourage you to look at what that business would look like with people, with support, with someone who wants to be there just as bad as you, that wants to help you grow.